All right, everyone, what's going on? It's Charlie. So I'm going to go over basically everything that happened from a psychological standpoint, from a market perspective. And I know a lot of people aren't going to like it, but I don't make videos to appease other people. That's what all the other YouTubers do that pump out AMC and GME content. I'm more about reality. We're going to take a look back and we're going to explain 2021 with, of course, evidence and documentation. But this is going to be an introductory video. I'm going to give a little bit of background about me so you know how this all came to fruition and how I ended up in the spot that I'm in right now. I never planned for this, but I did want to share how I got here, and maybe it will give some insight into my intentions a little bit more, and maybe it'll clear some things up for some people. So let's go ahead and get started with this one real quick. This is going to be a short one. So look back, 2021 explained, but first, a little about me. So as a lot of you are aware, I sold Mazdas not for very long. I started in 2019. My wife got laid off from her job. We have two girls. I stayed at home and did transcription work at the time, but we needed a little bit more money. So when my wife got laid off, I made the decision to call my brother, and sales was the last thing that I had ever anticipated doing in life, less actually being decent at. But I called my brother and asked if there was any openings. He got me on at Mazda, and I started during a weird time during COVID when everything was not as it normally was. Innovation was required. So what I started doing is I started making YouTube videos for my customers to show them the features and go over the cars and all that stuff, so they didn't have to come to the dealership and risk their health and all that stuff. So kind of. And they're still doing that today. I actually was the first salesman to do that in that district, and now the whole district is actually required to make videos because they like the idea so much. But basically, I ended up finishing, I'm going to say first, but technically it was second. My brother cheated, but I finished second behind my brother in the entire Southwest region of the year for the year of 2020 and COVID. Now, it is what it is. I mean, COVID, if it wasn't for COVID, I wouldn't have done that. And I really didn't sell cars. I gave cars away. I was not the best salesman from a dealership perspective. But for a customer's perspective, if you came to me, you got a good deal because I always squeezed every dollar out of the desk that I could. But anyways, in December of 2020, I made the decision to quit sales after my brother introduced me to the Robinhood app earlier that year. Now, obviously I was killing it, as was everyone else, and there's a reason for this. We're going to go over this later. It actually ties into everything. But, I was hip-hopping, bebopping, thought I was a badass, thought I was going to be able to go home again and trade from home while I did my transcription work. My wife was kind of like, what the hell are you talking about? But I did it, and I ended up quitting my job in January of 2021 to come home and do the transcription/trading and go from there. The very first thing that I bought after doing this was none other than AMC. I bought at around $19, and then the journey began, because after that moment, I had heard and seen briefly about AMC and GME on Reddit by this point. So, I was kind of thinking, wow. And after seeing it run, I was like, holy shit, maybe this is for real. Then I jumped on it. I FOMO'd in at $19, and then we all know what happened. I started as an ape too. Please, no one that's watching this, please don't forget that. I used to be an ape. I will admit that. I was balls deep in the conspiracy psyop narrative just like everyone else. And I'm trying to reiterate how I got myself out of it. That's the only purpose I'm doing this. I'm not trying to bash anyone that's an ape. We were all apes. The point is to see yourself out of that status. Now, this is when most people bought AMC, right? Around this time frame. Most, unfortunately, around here. But there was some lucky ones that got in here. Or there may have been some good investors that have been holding the company for a while. But it ran up, and most people bought in this time frame. It ran up, and the chart doesn't even reflect the actual price it ran up to, which is around, that $21 mark in January. But yeah, it ran up and then it immediately tanked. So my first day trading from home, I fucking got shit on because I bought at the top. I was new at trading. I thought I was good at something I wasn't good at. I had Dunning-Kruger 100%. I was a fool. And then I was averaging down with everyone else. This is the time when apes were born. Right here. This is when apes were born. This is when TD started. This is when Reddit posts started. This is when everyone wanted to switch out of Robinhood, go to Fidelity. This is when all the narratives started. But mainly it all stems from social media. That's the thing to keep in mind here. I didn't ask to be an ape, and I know none of y'all did either. We kind of all collectively decided that we were going to be apes after the narrative was already put out there. And the narratives at this time were apes strung together, buy and hold, no options, amongst some other things. So what did I do? Well, I started to look for information, and I made the same mistake that most people make back in January of 2021 by doing this. I went to YouTube, I went to Reddit, I did everything everyone else did, and I mean, I'll admit that. I did it. Everyone knows that. I'm not hiding that. I'm not hiding the fact that I was an ape, that I believed everything else that everyone believes in right now. I'm just showing you why I no longer believe it. And I'm trying to get others to come to this realization that they may have been played in 2021. Not only by the industry, but by the content creators that they followed. So the first place I landed myself on YouTube was none other than Andrew Mo Money's channel. And I did watch a couple of his videos before something hit me. Now, let me just say, my boss that trained me in sales is a fucking legend. He was the #1 Texas salesman for Mazda for like 2 or 3 years in a row. Now he runs one of the best stores in Texas. I was trained by that guy. And he also trained my brother, which is still to this day the #1 salesman in the Southwest region. And he taught me, if you're not talking, you're getting sold. So when I started watching these videos about AMC and GME and stuff back in January, it was clear as day to me that these people did not really know what they were talking about, because they were just reiterating Reddit posts that they did not do the work. They were taking credit for someone else's work on Reddit and then monetizing it on YouTube to get paid for it. I noticed the thumbnails. These thumbnails are sales tactics 101. It's clickbait. They want to draw you in with their big text. Obviously the AMC logo. They even a Trades collab here, and I did watch a few trade videos as well. But this, I did not last long doing this because I felt like I was being sold the entire time, and looking back on it, I was 100% correct. Because clearly, after all the work and effort I put in trying to learn what was going on, these people are still in the same boat of just putting out content that makes people feel good. That's dangerous. They're selling you for easy profits. 100%. But anyway, let's keep moving. Then I learned about GameStop around this time. This is about early to mid-February. And I remember I bought GameStop like right before it ran up that day, and it scared the shit out of me. Because remember, all this was new to me back then. So I heard about MOAS, heard about the community craze, and I saw the community craze. I saw the mass amount of views that these YouTubers were getting. And then I thought to myself, okay, is this for real? And then I held with it. I stuck with it. I played along with it until May 4th of 2021. And this is when I started going against the grain. I'm going to show you why. AMC Entertainment Holdings previously scheduled its annual meeting of stockholders, the annual meeting for May 4th, 2021, and established March 11th, 2021 as the record date for determining stockholders eligible to vote at the annual meeting. On May 4th, 2021, the board of directors of the company postponed the annual meeting from May 4th to July 29th, 2021. The board of directors also set a new record date of June 2nd, 2021 for stockholders entitled to attend and vote at the annual meeting. Postponement was approved to provide additional time for the company's current stockholders to consider the proposals and vote for the company to solicit proxies in connection with certain proposals. This is what threw me off the AMC GME train right here, because all of those votes, I remember, we all voted. We did it everything right in the beginning. And then they postponed the meeting because we had the fucking float. That was the only shot we had with AMC to make this legit, was by voting in 100% of the float, which we only got 80% because this was designed to shake off those votes accumulated right here. Null and void. That was a slap in the face from Adam Aron. He joins the Centricus acquisition board 2 days later with Ken Griffin that he says he doesn't know of, which he's lying. And from that moment on, I actually started to research. And I'm going to get into where I transitioned to from this mindset next. But this is why I got off the train. This is the first reason of many to come why I got off the train. Everything else after this was just confirming metrics that made me not regret my decision. So from this moment on, I told myself that the next run I was going to sell AMC and I was going to learn in the meantime. Because think about it. I had just gotten home. I had just started trading from home. I didn't have my main source of income that I had. And I sure as fuck wasn't going to go on YouTube and start selling everybody on fake information. So what I did was I spent some time learning, spent some time trading, spent some time learning, reading. Not on YouTube, not on Twitter. I made it a point to get away from that because I felt bamboozled by May already. And I felt like a bunch of people were walking into a bamboozlement. On a mass scale. Mass scale. We're going to get into the details on that later. So anyways, this decision from Adam Aron prompted this first video from me that went against the grain. And if you would like to go watch it, I'm going to leave it in the description so you can see my reasonings and where I started my journey from becoming an investor from an ape. And it's been a fantastic journey. I've met a lot of amazing people. The followers that I've had from 2021, you guys are amazing people. And your time that you've given me can never be repaid fully. So I will do my very best to make sure that time is paid forward in value. If it happens to be through the membership, that's fine. If it's not, if it's through content, that's fine. Just whatever way I can to pay it back. That's my goal. But next time we're going to look into where I transitioned to and where I went from here. But I just wanted to give an introductory, let you know that I'm not a shill, I'm not an asshole, I'm just a real dude that got caught in the same mess you all got caught in, and I found myself out somehow. Somehow. Grateful for it. But anyways, thanks for watching. I will never ask for a sub or a like, ever. Ever.